And when that man speaks, you best to listen. This man has really curated a career for himself that I think many would admire, including myself, and I'm not even a thespian. And when I think of where it all started for him, it's pretty impressive how he's been able to sustain this quality of career.
Yeah.
We've seen him in many films, many TV series. Some of my favorites are Lean on Me, Waiting to Excel. A Family Thing is one of my favorites. Aquaman is one of my favorites. Heather B, you got
Soul
it?
Food.
Soul Food.
Yeah.
Okay, Law and Order, The Blacklist, Brothers and Sisters, Criminal Minds. The list goes on and on. Tulsa Kings, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Mayor of Kingston, and today he's here to talk about The Perfect Couple, which is a limited Netflix series that premieres tomorrow. I want to welcome him to the show, and I feel like he deserves a standing O. Give it up for the one and only Michael Beach, man.
I know, first time here.
Come on,
thank
Tracy.
you. Oh,
Yeah, man, first time in Sway in the morning. We
all these
appreciate
people
it.
standing up.
You can hear him, Mike, right? Come on, man.
Thank you.
At least we know you can act like you hear him, because that's what you do, brother. That's man. It's good. By the way, we got Tracy G. If you look at this,
straight ahead too.
Oh, there she is. Tracy G is back in our New York office.
Hello, Tracy G.
Okay.
Hey, happy to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I played that at OG because I know you're from that area, right? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Roxbury, in
Roxbury.
Boston. Yeah, in Warren Gardens specifically.
What does that mean, Warren Gardens?
Well, it's like it's a particular neighborhood where they, you grow up in the
high rises.
High rises, yeah. Well, for Boston, it's not like New York. Boston doesn't really have the high rise thing, but in the hood, man.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, so gardens like projects, like
like the project,
Nicholas Gardens, like Montgomery, like
exactly.
the hood.
Warren Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we would hear, like, I played at OG. I know he's a popular person. The Almighty RSO with Benzino and those groups. I don't know if you was following all that stuff, but they were painting these pictures of Roxbury and their music back in the late 80s and in the 90s. It seemed like it was a challenging environment. Was that for you?
Well, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was born in the '60s, and went through all the busing that was going on in the '70s, and Boston was a place where at that time where you stayed in your neighborhood. If you went into the white areas, you risk trouble. You risk trouble. Yeah. So you stayed out of those neighborhoods.
You stayed out of those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Who are some of the artists? I know. I don't know. Did you grow up with hip hop in your life, or was it just kind of a side thing? Because if you grew up in the '60s and '70s, not necessarily.
Nah. I mean, that didn't really. I mean, the term hip hop didn't exist
at that time, right?
Yeah. And but I grew up, with R&B. The listening to Teddy Pendergrass and stuff like that. But when rap came, I was just about. When it became, I was just about heading to college at that time.
Wow.
And so I was in New York.
Yeah.
Because I went to college in New York, and I remember being me and Ving Rhames and Eric LaSalle.
Wow.
We'd be up, even West Snipes, and we'd be up on the 145th and St. Nick.
Yeah.
Be up on the roof. With our beatbox, listening to, all the cats at the time trying to work out, trying to get in shape.
You, Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames.
Eric LaSalle would be there. Wes was coming around because the first film I ever did was with Wes. A film called Streets of Gold.
Yes.
Right? So Wes was out of school a couple of years before me, about a year or two. And so he was starring in this film that we shot in New York, and I played his he was a boxer trying to get out of the hood, and I was his dude in the streets trying to keep him in. Had these ideas.
Oh, you
of
was that guy,
drugs and this and that. Yeah, I was that guy.
You was the crab in the bucket.
I was the crab in the bucket.
Okay, all right, okay.
What's funny is I had to. The first scene I ever shot, I had to smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
Right. back then they didn't have all the cloves, cigarettes, and stuff they have now.
Yeah.
I never smoked a day in my life, right? So I didn't know what I was doing. So they were like, "Oh yeah, you're smoking and you're this and that." And at the time, it was my first job. I said, "Okay, I'll try it." They had to go and get Camel, I guess, when they had the filter.
Yeah.
Dude, if you ever watched the movie, I'm not inhaling, right? So I take a puff and I start talking, and the smoke just goes across my face. There's no stream. It's just literally just, like a cloud. And it's clear I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, so now they have 3, 4 cameras. Back then it was one camera. So you got to do the big shot, the coverage.
You got to do every angle.
Close-ups.
Yep.
So you shoot like a gazillion times. And I'm smoking these cigarettes a gazillion times. That night, I was so sick. I was so sick that I vowed to myself, I will never smoke on camera again. And even when it becomes relevant, I was like, nah.
You won't do it.
Nah, I'm not going to do it.
Wow. I was going to say, even with the clove now, you still nothing.
It's just, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Right? It just is a block for me. And I mean, I'm a very healthy dude anyway.
Yeah.
And just the idea of it. I did a film called If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Round of applause for
Right.
that.
So,
you talking about it?
Great film,
Yeah.
great cast, Barry Jenkins. And we're in the bar, Coleman Domingo, my man who's killing it right now. We got this scene where we're supposed to be smoking and drinking, and so obviously I can drink because it's crap, nothing. It's just water in the thing or whatever. He's smoking, and I was like, "Nah, dude, I can't do it." And Barry's like, "Okay," and I see the movie, which was fantastic, and I thought, damn, I should have done a cigarette.
You thought that?
Because it was
Wow.
right. Yeah,
Really?
Because it takes place in the 70s.
Yeah.
We're in the bar, and it was the one time I thought it's appropriate, and you should, I should have done it.
Wow, man, that's interesting. I didn't know if folks thought of Michael Beach is here, by the way. We're talking about The Perfect Couple, which premieres tomorrow. It's a Netflix limited series.
Yes.
I wonder how much thought, because we often have actors here, and we ask them questions about the roles that they choose to play, and how do you factor in if a character is if the character is so extreme against who you are, or if it's based on a true story, like we talk about the Jeffrey Dahmer story, that got a lot of backlash from people because it was great. It was great, production.
Yeah.
But there are people who are related to some of the victims that came out and protested. Do you consider that? When you take on a role, you play the detective in that, right?
Right. Yeah. I play one of the guys who actually, he had like 63 hours of confession.
Yeah.
And so I play like an amalgamation of the officer that he spoke to, and then I have to go and inform the family that their loved one has been a victim of Jeffrey Dahmer. So it's tough, yeah. And when I do stuff, I try not to have an opinion or a thought, or I don't think about the audience, or I don't think about pleasing them or not pleasing them, or whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy, or I don't think it would serve me as an actor, as a guy trying to play someone, if I have to worry about ramifications of things. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. I don't factor that stuff in.
You can't factor that in.
Yeah. If it's something that I personally would have some major problem with, I just wouldn't do the job.
Okay.
But to be honest, now that I think about it, I never ran across that. I love to work, and I love to be put in uncomfortable situations, and I think that's when you discover things, and that's when things become interesting to watch.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not about pleasing people or being good or bad. I did a film called oh Jesus!
You did about 200 of them. I get it, bro. I was like, he put himself out there. If he come up with the names, I'll be very
You're gonna be impressed. Me too.
Oh, it's called Patriots Day.
Okay,
Right,
I mean,
okay.
that was a big film, bro.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
But it was about the Boston bombing at the marathon. And we did it a couple of years after it happened. And so the question was the same thing. Is it too soon?
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people that thought it was and a lot of people that didn't. And there were a lot of the survivors. They don't call themselves victims. They call themselves survivors who we got to meet, who most of which who were in favor of us doing the film.
Okay.
You know? And so the question is the film going to be accurate? Is it going to, are we just going to try to show everybody's good and these are bad guys, or are we going to really be delve into who the people are and why they did what they did and how they did what they did, and without particularly putting a spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that it was back in Boston, where I was from,
Mark,
the
Wahlberg family,
exactly,
come on.
exactly. And I think it was a fantastic film.
Yeah.
It didn't break any records or anything, and it wasn't a huge opening, but I think most people that watch the film are really impressed by what we were able to do with it.
I saw the film, man. Round of applause. That's a great film. Mark Wahlberg is a friend. You know what I mean? I'm proud of him and what he's been able to do with his career, HB.
Michael, you talked about being from Roxbury, and we have so many. We call our people who watch and listen to the show citizens. We have so many citizens who watch the show and listen who are trying to get into acting. They're taking classes. They're taking all the steps. How long did it take you from your humble beginnings to going off to study this professionally to get your first job? And when you got it, what was it, do you think, that happened that finally clicked to have you book and land that job?
I was very lucky. I was very fortunate because I went to Juilliard in New York. And when I first went there, I had been acting maybe 9 months, right, from high school, because I played football.
Like
for
me.
real.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
like
he
you.
played for
Okay,
real.
thank you, Mike. Thank you for acknowledging me, Michael. Thank you.
Little Pop Warner, and then, so I played, I was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I kept
15,
going.
16,
kept going.
17.
Yeah, I kept going.
I retired at 10. All right. Right. Put that out there.
But we had that 2 years in similar, 9 and 10.
Transformative.
Yeah. But I played football, so I got a scholarship to a prep school outside of the hood, in Boston. I went to Dedham, Massachusetts, and played at a very nice prep school, which really opened my eyes because a lot of family members hadn't gone to college. It wasn't a thing, right? When I went to prep school, it was like grade 13. Everybody was going to college. And I thought I was going to go play football in college, but I got hurt severely playing lacrosse, actually, game lacrosse. And since it was prep school, everybody we had morning announcements, right? Where the whole school got together and you talked about what was going on over the week. Everybody did announcements, and for some reason, someone asked me to do an announcement. And I said, okay, fine. And I did one, and, people enjoyed it. And then people were afraid to do it because it's in front of the whole school. So they would ask me to do more and more, and I just kept doing it. And based on that, when I got hurt, someone asked me to do a play. And I was like,
wow.
A play? Why would you ask me to do a play? I don't know nothing about a play. I'm an athlete, And they asked me a few times. I said no a few times, and then eventually I said yes. So I auditioned and I got it, and then I probably had like another 10 months of school left. So I did a few other plays, and not knowing what to do for college because I couldn't play sports anymore. Yeah. Somebody said, "Oh, well, you should audition for theater schools." And I was like, "Well, what's a theater school?" And they said, "Well, it's where you act in school." I said, "Really? They have those?" I had no idea, dude.
Seemed easy to me.
Yeah. So they gave me a list of schools, and I auditioned for the schools that they gave me a list for, and Juilliard happened to be one of them. I didn't know anything about it, and I got in. So I said, "Well, which one should I go to?" And they said, "You should go to Juilliard."
Yeah.
So, now you know, though.
Yeah, I know now. Yeah. So I went, and you know, Juilliard then is real different now. I mean, they had cuts. Like, so you had your first year, then you had, at the end of your first year, so I went with 26 people that went into the acting program my year.
26?
26, yeah. You go into a room, and literally, there are just thousands and thousands auditioned, right? So you go into a room, and there's a lot of people in tights for the audition, and they're talking
it's like
about
Fame.
Yeah.
Like
and
that, right?
Exactly, like Fame, like a more adult,
okay.
right?
Okay.
And they're talking about how they just finished. I just did a run of Othello, or I was just doing Macbeth, at the so and so theater, and da. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just sitting there, this little kid from the hood, spent a little bit of time in a prep school. The difference between the hood and the prep school was huge. And the difference between prep school and Juilliard is huge, because Juilliard, there's no academics. I don't have to take math or science, it's all theater.
Wow.
All movement, all voice, all diction, speech, all of that stuff. So that whole experience was crazy for me too. And going there, and you find out that there are people that are there who have been acting since they were 9 and 10.
Okay, so it matters.
It matters. Exactly.
He tried to sneak it in.
It does matter. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, bro.
Yeah.
And I was not one of those people. So the lore of it, because the people in my class were really intimidated by the fact that they were at Juilliard. First of all, they made it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then they had the lore of these teachers and what it meant and this and that. And so at the end of the first year, they would warn people saying that you're coming back for the second year, but if you don't improve this or that, then we're cutting you from the program.
Oh, that's what he meant by the cuts initially.
Cuts.
Yeah,
right. So the 4-year program, but if you don't make the cut, you only do 2. And
damn.
So we started with 26. I think one person left the program. The third year, which is after the cuts, we had 11.
Wow.
So
it was tight.
Yeah.
Any names we know that were a part of that 11?
Well, from my class, no.
Okay.
But like Eric LaSalle,
yes,
who, I'm sure he doesn't mind me telling, but he was a couple of years before that, but he got cut.
Eric LaSalle, look at his career.
Right.
But but he was so smart about it. He had a mentor who literally was on top of it. So he ended up going to NYU. So he got cut from Juilliard. He went in and auditioned for NYU. got in the NYU advanced program and ended up doing 2 years at NYU and graduated from NYU at the same time he would have graduated from Juilliard.
Smart.
Yep.
Yep. He's been up here too.
Yeah.
Eric LaSalle, he's a citizen.
Yeah. Now that's my man. That's
and an
my
author. He's writing and doing a lot.
Yeah, he's got these great
series of books.
Books, yeah.
Okay, man, this is interesting, bro.
It
Michael
is.
Beach is here. Give him a big round of applause. And he's in a new series. It's called The Perfect Couple. Premiering tomorrow here on Netflix. Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber is in it. Dakota Fanning is in it. And give us a brief synopsis of what this series is about.
So this is a limited series, 6 episodes.
All right.
It's about a Nantucket family, a wealthy, old-school family.
Mm-hmm.
And one of their sons is getting married to someone who is not of a wealthy old school family.
Okay.
Not of the pedigree.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's on the come up.
She's on the come up.
Okay.
Yes.
She's from the Gardens.
She grew up in the hood. Yeah. But the night before the wedding, someone is killed.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'm not going to say who, but someone is killed.
Yeah.
And so the question is, who among the family members or the friends of the family killed this person?
Okay.
My character is the chief of police,
Mm-hmm.
and he is heading up the investigation. And so it's really this whodunit
Uh-huh.
in a very, very wealthy setting. And you get to know, because it's called The Perfect Couple, I think, because it's the idea of this perfect family and this perfect setting. But through the investigation, you start to the family and their problems and who they are and how they're so not perfect. All of that stuff starts to come out.
Wow, I love this, man. That's my kind of who done it too, man. It's called The Perfect Couple, premieres tomorrow. Tracy, you want to jump in?
Yes, I do. Michael, we've been speaking about how you've had such an illustrious career. You've been on so many different size screens. But I got to say, one of my favorite times of watching you was you and your wife, Felicia, on the Black Love docuseries on OWN. I thought that was so spectacular to hear your story. And before seeing the trailer for The Perfect Couple, when I heard that title, it immediately brought me back to those episodes. And for those who did not catch it, citizens, Michael, you were so honest in talking about being married prior. Felicia, 17 years in, and congratulations, because that is a lot with sustaining that love. But you spoke about being married before and creating 4 beautiful children from that relationship and saying, you know what, I'm done. I don't think I'm ever going to travel down this path again. And I think that's so relatable for a lot of folks where, a life that they had that changes, and then you can just kind of melt into a puddle of pessimism.
Yeah.
Could you share some words for folks on just being open to the possibilities of life? Because eventually you did meet Alicia, and now here y'all are 17 years in holy matrimony.
Yeah, we've been married we've been together 24 years now.
Oh, wow.
And and she literally, from my mind, she saved me from myself, and in terms of my happiness, and because I can't imagine the idea of not being in love and being with someone and be aging as I am and not having that relationship. But the I was married 17 years before.
Yeah.
Had the 4 kids, like you said. And it didn't work out,
Okay.
And because I had 4 kids, I thought, well, why do I have to do that again? I'm done. I'm done. And it wasn't a horrible marriage. In fact, on the Black Love, I talk about the fact that that my ex-wife lives with my wife and I and our kids.
Lives
in the same house.
Yeah. Yo,
Did you do that when you were 9 or 10?
No, I didn't get there yet. I hadn't kissed a girl yet, Mike. What are you talking about?
Oh, my bad.
Okay. but talk to us.
Well,
about it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the circumstances is a long story, but
you thinking about it sound kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it is a rare situation, where she's lived with us now for I don't know, it's been 7-8 years.
Wow.
And she's literally just a part of our family because my wife and Felicia and I have 4 young kids as well. And so they just know, my ex-wife's name is Tracy. They just know her as Tracy. They know we used to be married because our older children who are in their 30s, they come over all the time, and they know that Tracy is their mom and I'm their dad, but they're brothers and sisters, but their mom is different.
Yeah.
So it just become this blended family that is awkward from the outside, but it actually works perfectly. And the reason I think I've been saved is because I'm able to let go of negative things, or things that sometimes you think what was done to you, or how I was put in this situation, or all these terrible things that Tracy and I went through. But a lot of people hold on to it, and it really doesn't help you. You get bitter, and you make bad decisions because of that weight and that pressure, and I found that in letting that stuff go, it just makes my life so much easier, so much more enjoyable. Yeah. And Felicia, my wife, has helped me do that, because it's not, I think her having your wife embrace the fact that your ex-wife is living with you.
Felicia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give her a standing
Shout
out.
out to
I don't even know why we gave you the standing out. This is for her, man.
Because I needed you to help me understand how you could come home and ask that question. Like, how does that?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the way it happened is that's too long of a story,
Okay.
but it there's been a lot of times because. The funny thing is they're together more than we are together because I take a job, I go out of town, and early on, when I was doing Aquaman, I was in Australia. I'm in Australia for 2 months. You can't say I'm gonna go home for the weekend when you're in Australia.
Yeah, nah.
Because
the time difference, all that, the travel.
23 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was in Australia, and then right after that, I was in South Africa doing a film.
Wow.
And so Felicia and Tracy got closer, and Tracy was very helpful with our kids, taking them to school and helping, with the dinners and stuff like that. And so it just... it just worked out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because sometimes on social media, especially on Black Love, it always comes up. You got this little thing going on. This little sex thing
They
going
think
on.
It's poly.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the word, but and it's obviously it's nothing farther from the truth. It just Tracy is a part of my life, a part of my family. We have 4 kids together.
Right.
She was 21. I think I was 22 when we met. And I just can't cut her off.
Why would you?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. I mean, it's just not. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, she doesn't have to live with us, but it just, it just worked out that way, and it it is comfortable for us.
Well, and this, go ahead.
About to go home and ask my husband because my ex live with us. See how that works on the men's side.
Don't do that.
Flip it, Michael. Thanks for the idea.
It ain't gonna work on the
Don't
men's
blame
side.
me. Don't blame me.
It ain't gonna work. Hey man, let's give a
So
big
he's like,
round of
nah.
applause for Michael Beach, man. And it sounds like that's your concept of the perfect couple. You know, so for as an added person in here.
Perfect couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Listen, I want to thank you for coming by this morning, man. This is awesome. I real quick, you went to school with Guru from Gang Starr?
Well, his family.
Okay.
Yeah, the Elams.
Okay.
His father's a judge in Boston. I went to school with his sister Jocelyn. And obviously long before he was the Guru.
Yeah.
You know, Keith. And I went to school with his sister from early age, maybe when we were like 9 or 10.
See,
You know, it counts. And then we ended up in high school together.
Wow.
So when his stars start to rise, what did you think? Like, did you know he was rapping or
No, I didn't. In fact, I didn't even know he was the Guru
from Gang Starr?
Yeah, but then I didn't know who it was. But then I saw his picture. I was like, oh shit. And you know, and I was digging his music before I knew who he was. And it was so weird because I obviously, you know, knowing them when we're kids, you know, rap wasn't even.
It wasn't there yet.
It wasn't there yet.
Yeah,
because we're talking about the early 70s. And it was so impressive because the family he's from, you know, he's from a very
prestigious family.
Yeah. His brother actually went to the high school that I'm talking about, Two Nobles and Greenos. He's actually one of the distinguished graduates, and which I became about 2 years ago as well. And so it's a really cool connection in terms of Roxbury, coming from the hood, but getting a good education, you know, which is the key, I think. You know, having a nice education to being able to see more and experience more, and I think that's one of the things that made him such an amazing rapper.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that dude, he spoke so eloquently to me.
Yeah. No, he was incredible, man. Salute to Guru, rest in power, and salute to his family. I just wanted to give him that light.
Absolutely.
Michael Beach, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on this show,
My
brother.
pleasure,
man,
you,
come
bro.
back, man.
Even in New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. The Perfect Couple is premiering globally on Netflix tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. Michael Beach, he's in it. Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber's is in it, as well as Dakota Fanning. Sounds like a good series.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you, brother. Appreciate
My
you, man.
pleasure.
All right.